Hey, what's up? My name is Dylan. Just finished building 2 cathedral hives for a client. I wanted to show you guys the kind of changes in design and the improvements. So yeah, here we go. The customer wanted to keep the hives as 100% natural as possible. She wanted to have copper and swirled copper for the roofs, custom engravings, a custom hive stand. She wanted to keep all the wood strictly to cedar or Douglas fir for anywhere the bees touched. The exterior is made out of plywood to keep it relatively lightweight. So there's a lot of features. I'll try to go through and remember everything, but forgive me if I forget some stuff. So we'll start, they're 3-part. You got like the roof, the top, and the bottom. Each of the handles have undercuts for your fingers to help you pick them up and carry them easier. The copper is definitely an upgrade, but it ended up being really beautiful. It looks nice, you know, polished, shiny, or the swirl pattern ended up really nice. I initially thought that the shiny would be the best, but the swirl I think is better because it's much less reflective, and this thing in the sunlight is pretty blinding without the swirls. The swirls makes it a little bit more matte and gives it just a really nice texture. The bottom of the roof has got just alignment guides to help the aligning process set down to be much easier. Okay, so now we have the top. The top has sliding vents to allow for just even air control. And they're both built the same way. If you can see down here, we have vents on the top as well as the bottom. You kind of have to crouch down to see, but it works the same way. The holes in the bottom are a little bit smaller, they're about 1 inch in diameter. The ones on top are like, let's say 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches is a little bit bigger than the ones I did before because the place this hive is going is a warmer and more humid climate. So we'll change the capabilities of the air control based on where you're going. Each of the vents have stops to show you what 0 and 100% is. The roofs have copper accents, a cedar landing thing, laser engraved designs. The laser engraving is nice. For one, it just looks great, but ends up looking really natural, as opposed to a silkscreen plastisol ink or like a vinyl decal. So it's just nice to have a custom engraving on your hive. And so these hives have the front 2 engravings are the same and the back 2 are different. If we take off the roof has a buffer plate that helps make sure that it's always in contact with the ridge to prevent like unwanted airflow. It has guides here and here that helps with aligning. You don't really want to be fishing around. You just want it to kind of sit in really nice, and that's what these do. Also, not that it's really an issue of having other bugs or, other bees trying to enter from above because they can't access the hive anyway because it's all sealed up. But I stapled in some, I think it's number 8 mesh. I don't know what it is, but too small for most bugs to climb through. For all the upper vents, the bottom vents have a screen bottom board, so they're essentially screened as well. Okay. Let's see. So the faceplate, so these tuck up front here. The faceplate is made out of cedar attached to a frame, and each of the frames have the bee highway thing, which is a really nice feature. It allows the bees to kind of transfer from frame to frame. In the wintertime, typically with other cathedral hives, well, I guess small cathedral hives have these, but the heat rises allows the bees to transfer throughout the hive itself more easily. I find they don't fill them up with propolis or wax, and it's a nice thing. Let's see. So I'll take some frames out. The customer asked me to wax these in 100% natural beeswax from a company in Texas, I believe. Definitely recommend waxing your frames to start out with. Just gives the bees kind of a little bit of a head start, a little foundation, and just kind of pushes them to draw comb the correct way. not that they draw comb in an incorrect way in the Cathedral Hive. I get very little burr comb or cross comb. You'll get cross comb if you don't never inspect your hive, but you should be inspecting once every 2 weeks, so that's not an issue. And burr comb, I got two instances of burr comb in a year of beekeeping with my Cathedral Hive, so that's not bad. I definitely get way more burr comb with my Langstroth hives. Okay. Oh, I didn't turn this around. Well, we'll pull off all the frames real quick. Oh, the back here, the back is made out of cedar. There's a new, I added this piece here, and what this does is, as your year progresses, the bees are going to draw propolis and wax, and these are going to expand, and then if you clean them off, they'll contract. So your width is kind of variable to some extent, and what this does is gives you all that distance in play to allow for, you know, the change in the overall width of your frames. So that's a new feature. Didn't do that before. Let's see. Okay, so backs off. This is the screen bottom board. It's a new kind of faceplate method for the screen bottom board. I like it more than the other ones. They all work just fine. But the base is a screen bottom board for checking your varroa mites. Also seeing just how much excrement's down there, wax and propolis build up. This thing slides out, so you can monitor that frequently. You could put a, the Vaseline coat on here to help things stick, or to help the mites from climbing up. But it sits back flush, prevents airflow down there. Let's see, nice engraving. I'm gonna spin this around because it's actually supposed to go this direction. And the reason it goes that way is so that the window here, so this customer wanted to have a larger window than the other 2 smaller windows I did on the previous hives. So if you can see down here, these hooks pin the cover in place. Oh, so the cover is nice to have. It's built the way it is with this ridge and inset to prevent 100% of light going in there. So if you had light going in there, that'd be really bad. One, the bees don't really prefer it. Obviously observation hives have that happen, but they'll start to build propolis and build up, so they'll cover up your glass, and that's not an easy thing to clean. And just, it's nice to keep them in darkness. That's what they prefer. So recessed window cover, double pane window. Double pane is going to help with insulation and mediate that temperature swings. Let's see. All right, so the front, we have the Periscope Entrance. The Periscope Entrance, it's just a path that goes in, up, and then back in. What this does is kind of elongate the time and minimize the space, or kind of maximize the space at which the bees can defend the hive. The longer pathway, wasps would go in, or invader bees would go in, robber bees, the more chance they have to defend. Also on the inside, if you can come around and look over here, the entrance into the hive is not just a big opening, it's a bunch of small openings. And so this serves as a mouse guard as well. Okay, so that covers a lot of it. We still have more. Let's look at this hive. We'll talk about the feeders. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm glad I put that there. So each hive also comes with an insulation layer for winter. It doesn't provide warmth. That's not really the purpose of having an insulation layer. The insulation layer is primarily to have the temperature swings be more gradual. It's the really drastic, sharp temperature swings that are the most problematic. So that helps. Let's see. So same faceplate, same Periscope Entrance, same frames. If we come around back here, one of the other improvements, upgrades for this hive is we went from having 2 single quart jars for feeders to 2 half gallons. That's really nice because, well, they can go through, about a quart in a day. If it's a really warm day, they usually don't go that much, but still, you don't want to be opening the hive too much to do the feeders. And it's just nice to give a little bit of space sometimes too. So increase in volume, that's great. Super easy. They always stop at the right size because they got a stopper. And with each hive, I'll ship, you know, the half-gallon jars, and there's a lid that goes on here I don't have right now, but with a bunch of holes in it that slowly disperses it and doesn't leak, which is nice because it's based on a vacuum pressure. You fill it up, put the lid on, turn it upside down, it'll drip, and then once that vacuum pressure is at the max, or with the surface tension, then it won't drip anymore, then you can place it in. The feeders itself is a sting-free feeder, which is really nice. I think I have the old one here, which I don't even use anymore, but you can see that the bees would transfer through, whereas here you don't have to worry about getting any, you know, bees escape. Everybody who has bees knows they're really good at escaping. So this has a cedar face, Douglas fir back, Douglas fir bottom, and a ridge that matches the contour of the inside to prevent bees from escaping from the inside. Let's see. The stands are screwed together. They're just disassembled for shipping to make easy, and indexed so you can assemble them much easier. I'm trying to think. I don't know what else I haven't covered, but thanks for checking out the video. Have a great year of beekeeping, and stoked on the Cathedral Hives.